in, oh man, what just happened?
From elementary school. Look at the person to your left. No, it won't work here.
Does everybody feel comfortable, or does anybody want to practice like one time before we go?
Oh my God. Ah, you guys. Okay.
What are you?
I'm a monster.
And sometimes it's through late self-discovery, through
Welcome into the UnLearn show today, where we have an awesome guest, the ever lovable, awesome, inspiring Sina. What's going on, Sina?
What's up, Jake? How's it going, everyone? Honored to be here.
It's good, man. It's glad to have you. You've been one of those people that everyone just have kind of like sucked to when you came on, burst on the scene. Everyone was like, "Oh, I love this guy's energy. Like, I need to know more about him." So how's the experience been for you so far as you've kind of dove in here?
It's been incredible. Just you say I burst, but honestly, there were a few key people that I spoke to initially that just opened my eyes to the possibilities. Sunny was one of them. You were one of them, Jake, and it made me understand what social media could be, because before that I never really used it. I never understood it. I went to the Toronto LinkedIn local event and I met Manu and Brian, and I was speaking to them and I asked them, it was only a few weeks that I had gotten on LinkedIn before that, and I asked them what's happening. Like, it just feels different. They said, this is new, man. This is completely new to everyone, and it's incredible. And I just dove in, and you know what? I think part of it is that I care, and all of you and all of us care enough to put the time in. It's not just, hey, I'm going to post my stuff like a normal social network and then hope for reaction. It's really communication, and it's conversation, and it's building that relationship. So it's incredible.
Okay. Yeah. Sina Fak, what drives you?
So I've been in discovery mode for a very long time. I would say my whole life. And it wasn't until about a year ago where I kind of figured some things out. And I was in discovery mode because I always felt like as a culture, as a society, we're constantly told that we need to have this singular passion, this singular purpose in life that drives us, that is our true north all the time. And I was trying to understand what this meant. Like, why don't I have this purpose, this sense of purpose that everybody else seems to have or talks about? And it wasn't until about a year ago where I really started doing some self-reflection about who I wanted to be in my life and my goals and the impact I wanted to make, that I realized that those combining factors are my purpose. Not everybody needs to necessarily have this singular focus in their life. I think for a lot of us, it's a combination. We want to be good parents. We want to be good children to our parents. We want to be good, have a good relationship with people. We want to make an impact. We have goals that we want to accomplish. And all of these sort of factors make up our why and what we want to, how we want to define ourselves. So that's that clarity of okay, I don't need to have that anymore. Detaching myself from that was so much relief, because it really felt like I was constantly fighting to figure it out. But now I'm much clearer on what that is.
That's good. So where did you end up last year after you kind of had that conversation with yourself? Where has that brought you today?
Today it's brought me to the realization that the work, the business that I started wasn't fulfilling me to or it wasn't helping me grow into the person that I wanted to be. It was accomplishing my goals. It was making money. It was checking off some boxes in my life. But it wasn't allowing me to become who I want to become and make an impact the way I wanted to make. Because I feel like that contribution is the most important thing. And that's where understanding how we're contributing, what we're contributing to the world is really what defines us to the world, and also motivates us beyond ourselves. You know, like we can only be so motivated by our personal goals. And I think all of you, like what's amazing about all of you, I know you guys live outside yourselves and you have this mission for somebody else, for a cause that is greater than you. And just hearing all of your stories, I know that exists.
It's awesome. Who else wants to jump in?
Hey, Sina, let me add one thing real quick before I think Chantel is going to say something. You know, we know you've watched a couple of the episodes and you know, you've been on the show, and, you know, really our whole premise, right, is to help provide that blueprint that helps you for accountability, right? So we really appreciate the fact that you're kind of throwing it back to us to say, you realize this is what we do. I mean, to the point of this, I mean, I'm sitting on a party bus, according to Katie and Chantel and Lacey, right, riding down to a college basketball game, right? But these guys felt so strongly about wanting to have you share your story, and as did I, that we wanted to make the time to make sure that you got a chance to talk us through your story, the goals that you want. So, you know, I just wanted to throw in there that thank you for being a part of the UnLearn show, because it's really about your story, the past, the present, and then the future. I mean, that accountability, right? So I just wanted to say thanks real quick and then throw it to you. I think Chantel had something she wanted to ask first, or Lacey or Katie. I know I saw somebody get ready to start speaking before I cut everybody.
Okay, so you talked a lot about, you know, trying to dig in and find a purpose and find, you know, whatever routed your way to your thought process right now, and accepting the fact that you can have multiple directions that you're going in so long as you have that in your heart, right? But what was it? Like, did you have a main event that happened that triggered your thought process to change?
I think it was, I mean, more recently, it's just this dull kind of, I guess, a dull pain that's always there that I think maybe a lot of people may be experiencing, because it's not acute enough where you feel like you've hit rock bottom, but it's always there, and you know something is a little bit off. And I think that comes from, again, just a lack of clarity. That's what it was for me, at least. I just wasn't clear on so many areas in my life, and working, like, I feel like we don't do enough self-reflection, self-work to dig into ourselves, because it's a scary place. And being honest to yourself is extremely difficult. And again, you're vulnerable, right? You're, you know, putting your cards on the table and saying, this is who I am, honestly, is a scary place to be. So I think that self-work needs to be there for those goals to become clear.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I'll ramble on if you want, unless somebody has a question. I have like a story I want to share. When I was about 16 years old, I kind of had like this epiphany in life, and it came from a few factors. One of my philosophies in life is really live, like I have this tattooed on myself. It's live to inspire and to be inspired. And what I love about LinkedIn and what I love about the world in general is that, especially now with social media, is that everybody has a voice and everybody has an opportunity to inspire someone. I remember when I was 16, I was a pretty bad kid in school. And I mean, I was in a class one day, And I remember one of my friends, we were friends, just an acquaintance in class. He was saying how he got into this really good school and how his marks were bad, but he worked really hard and he got them. And I remember just that conversation triggering something in me that changed my mind, that inspired something to work harder and become better. And I think that is, it's so powerful. We have this responsibility because you don't know who you're impacting, when you're impacting. And the more we put our message out, the more we impact people. And again, it could just be a single thing. Like, it just be a word, a sentence, an idea that you present to someone. It just, and I know all you guys are making waves with what you're putting out. So that was a lot. I know that was a lot.
No, it's awesome. It's so crazy that just one conversation can change your life. Like, literally one conversation will change the momentum behind all of your goals and all of your passions. So, thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you said that, like, we have a responsibility, you know, kind of to put that out. I did have a question. Well, I'm just going to use this one again, but, so what has been your most recent struggle? I think a lot of people kind of like see all the good and the happy stuff, but like, they don't see like the human stuff that we go through every single day, you know?
Yeah. My most recent struggle, I'm kind of going through it right now. It's I guess transitioning from what I'm doing to what I want to be doing. And I think that period of time is difficult for any change. Is always difficult. You have to learn new skills. Your relationships are going to change. Like, for example, I work with my girlfriend, and that dynamic is going to change moving forward because I'm going to be working part-time with her, but I'm going to focus on something new for myself as well. So figuring out the best way to go about that is it's so challenging because there's never a right answer. So yeah, that's my biggest challenge.
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
I love that you and your girlfriend work together, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So wonderful.
It's awesome. I convinced her. I kind of I got her to. I was like, when we first started working together, I kind of sold her on the idea of like the lifestyle of like the business that I wanted to create, and she jumped on board. And that's another point I really want to talk about.
Yeah. Great.
Because, okay, so I don't talk about this often because I don't like talking about, you know, all of this because it just doesn't, okay. So like the last 5 years I've been like traveling and working and traveling and doing the whole like nomad lifestyle thing. And I thought, like I said, back in 5 years ago, I thought that's what would make me happy. So when you asked, you know, earlier, what's your purpose in, you know, 5 years ago, it would have been, I want to be happy, which I think a lot of people use as their purpose. I want to travel. That's my purpose in life. I want to have experiences. That's my purpose in life. And recently I realized that that's not enough. Like, you can only do that so much before it gets old and you don't feel fulfilled anymore. You don't have that sense of contribution because all you're doing, it's like pure gluttony. It's pure, you know, just looking for yourself and trying to make yourself happy with these superficial things. And it's at the end, at the bottom of it, it's all empty. So that's also a big trigger for me why I'm again moving away from what I'm doing, because like my business right now, I enjoy it. It's helping me accomplish my goals. I'm good at it. It's making me money, but is it it's not helping me grow, and it's not helping me contribute how I want to contribute. So.
Okay, so my question would be, you mentioned having this kind of, dull, almost like an ache, knowing that maybe you need to change your path in life. Like either you kind of went down the wrong one or somehow it, branched off at some point, right? And I think that's something that a lot of people go through. And so you also mentioned your tattoo that says what to live to inspire and be inspired. So what would you say to people who kind of have that dull ache feeling that something needs to change? What would you say to kind of inspire them to make that change?
I would say being honest to yourself and like it's the scariest thing you can do. I think we all know where that pain and that dull ache comes from. We all understand it in some sort of raw, visceral way, why it's there. And I think going after it and just understanding that it's a process, that we're constantly in motion, we're constantly evolving, getting new experiences, learning, unlearning, and we change. So that dull ache could come, and then it might go away for a while, and then it could come back. And I think it's important to listen to that and continuously evaluate and try to mend it.
Christina, you mentioned earlier that you're thinking of pivoting and you're moving to something new. Can you share with us what you're thinking to pivot to, and share a little bit about what you're thinking of doing next? Are you able to do that?
Sure. Yeah. So I've, like I said, I've always been like trying to figure out what I want to do in life and like pivoting all the time. And now I think the thing that I want to pivot to is helping others get clarity on their goals, their growth objectives, personally, professionally, and the impact that they want to make. And it's so I'm still kind of in a figuring out stage, because I just pivoted again like a few months ago. It's crazy, and it might be a problem I have. I need to get like counseling for this. But
we have a group of people that can help you with that.
Yes. But I mean, I've always been really passionate about like social enterprise, because the idea of social enterprise is so incredible to me. Like a business that is for profit, that is doing something outside of just making money. It's doing something better for the world. And I mean, when I was younger, I was like, I tried to start a few social enterprises, and I mean, they just didn't work out. But I understand where that motivation comes from, that motivation to do something more for the world than just push out your product. So what I want to do is help people. Like my pivot is, but yeah, I want to work with people, because I love working with people and helping them understand really what it is, and asking about their goals, who they want to become, and what impact they want to make, and help align that with the work that they're doing. Because I feel like work is it's such a huge part of our life, and we need to understand what we're spending so much time in our week doing is contributing to those super important things.
No, Sina, we just want to know from all the co-hosts, we just want to say thank you so much for giving us some of your time. And look, this doesn't have to end, right? It's not a one-time process. That accountability that we all mentioned, we want to help you get there, and we don't want you to think that it has to come to you. You're welcome to reach out to any one of us as a group, and you know, we want to help you to get to your goal in 2018. So thanks for being a part of the UnLearn show today.
Amazing. Sonny, you always make my heart melt.
Absolutely.
It's so sweet and beautiful and genuine. It's like, it's so good.
That's what happens when you surround yourself with wonderful people, just like our LinkedIn. That's it.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez.
So much love.
That's two potential cries in one day.
Seriously. You guys are killing me.
Uh,